There we go. Says we're live, but let's find out first.
Let's give it a couple minutes. Let people hop into the chat.
I feel like he's gonna make us look really bad because he looks professional. Look at him.
This is all smoke and mirrors. Do not let it fool you.
I was anticipating it because I love his channel, so I go on there all the time and I watch his videos. I'm like, God damn it, I really want him as a guest, but it's gonna make us look like crap.
It's gonna make us look total like crap.
Dude, no way. This should help all of us. Honestly, I'm glad you think our channel looks so professional because lately we've had some difficulties with audio, and I know some people are just huge audio sticklers. So it's
I did watch a 30-second how to improve a YouTube channel one time out of sheer boredom, which makes me an expert now because apparently that's all you needed. And I think they did say audio was like, I think he said that it seems like the thing is the audio is more important than even lighting or anything. It was a camera, it was audio.
Yeah, it's a friend of mine, actually my oldest friend in the world. He hit me up after finally watching one of our videos. He's like, I like this, but fix your audio. And I'm like, look, we need funds first.
We have people in the chat.
We do. Barbarian Kung Fu, Need Mo, DK Comics Cosplay. What's happening? Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everybody.
And Kachung.
All right, let's just get rolling.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Review Swamp Thing. This is going to be episode number 3.
Episode number 3 of Into the Swamp with a big special guest. Bar Oblivion is in the house.
What's up, y'all?
And he has his own channel, and they do incredible videos and a lot of reviews. Like they mix like beer and comic books, which I know like we have tons of fans of both. So guys, go make sure you check out his channel, and then obviously by the end of this video, Mr. G will have put all his stuff in the description below where you could link his Instagram and his YouTube and all that stuff. So episode 3, Into the Swamp. We're going to be talking episode 3 today. What'd you guys think of it overall? Let's start with Mr. G.
I liked it, I guess. It's kind of weird. I did have a quick question for you. We'll get back to it later because I was under the impression that the Swamp Thing doesn't talk, and he was jib jabbering in this episode, so I didn't know how you were gonna like that. But I think it did a pretty good job. It kind of moved it forward. It got me interested because my boy from 90210 was back. Was excited about that, and it seemed like obviously he's got something more going on. So that like it led me to like I actually want to know what that is. Like that was kind of clever. They kind of did this little side thing because I really want to know what that's about now. And then it showed that our main villain right now, the industrialist, has got a little bit of a mean side to him. So I kind of liked it. I like the character building a little bit right there. And you're still kind of wondering if the daughter is really there or if it's on the lady's head. So I kind of like some little questions they presented in this episode.
Yeah, I like that stuff too. Bar Oblivion, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I actually really like the episode. I usually give a show or anything I'm looking into from books or whatever, I give it like 3 episodes or 3 issues before I, really make a solid judgment of am I going to continue this? And this episode had me hooked. I still think that the production of it's great. I will say, Mr. G, I was a little thrown off by Swamp Thing talking. He sounded like a caveman, and I don't think they really nailed that part, but I was excited to see him come on the screen and perform a little exorcism or whatever the heck he did there. I don't even know what it was, but it was good. I'm liking most of the actors. It's funny. The only actor I have an issue with is the little girl. Like, I mean, her look is fine. She has that Children of the Corn kind of style.
Which cute. What do you got going on there, lady?
But it's just her dialogue. I'm not convinced when I'm listening to her talk. It's just it's subpar for me. But overall, I like this episode. Actually, I would say this was my favorite of the 3 so far. So
Hey, Justin Rick, and what's happening? Your boy. I don't know if you've watched this before, but this is a review show. So yeah, there will be spoilers. Your boy, go play with the chickens if you don't
Isn't
want.
he here every week? How does he not know what this is?
I don't know. He's like, oh, you're giving away spoilers. Like, what are you? Jeez. People from Guam, you know what I mean? It's that old thing, you know.
I like this episode, and I gotta say, I went as soon as he said a word, I was watching it alone, and I whispered a specific 4-letter word to myself in disappointment, and kind of shook my head. But I was like, okay, you know what? The production's great. I really like the character. Let me just hop right back into this. Just kind of put that little tidbit behind and like just forget about that they made him talk. You got to think that it's not a comic. It's something people are watching, and they gotta do something interesting and give the character some sort of, like an angle every time every time he's trying to express himself. They need to do it somehow. And honestly, I guess it's a good news for Oblivion, because like, if they kept showing that little girl trying to relay his messages, he was going to turn the show off. But
that did concern me because I remember like episode 1, you said because he doesn't talk, they were going to use that little girl, and I was like, that's going to get old really fast if she's like sitting there, like holding his little finger or something, going, he says, like that was going to get super old.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's the way they were going to go, but I'm not going to lie, it bothered the old school Swamp fan inside of me for a little bit, but then like coming together and like thinking about it and thinking like, you know what, it's a show, they got to do it somehow. Like it wasn't terrible, and it's not like he's blabbering throughout the entire episode. You know what I mean? It's like little tidbits here and there. But the one thing that Mr. G said that I'm interested in is I want to see what's going to happen with this guy. That side story and figuring out the Blue Devil thing. I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see that whole tarot card flipping around that Xanadu did, and then he realizes that Abby is the one to help him get out of Murray somehow. So I want to see how that's going to progress. Unfortunately, we're cut down to 10 episodes of the show. So, I mean, if they got to wrap that up, they got to give us enough Swampy. They got to show us what's going to go on with Avery and all them, like all in 7 more episodes. So I hope it's done right, and I hope they don't last season of Game of Thrones it and they rush through everything and get really sloppy. That's the only thing I don't want to happen. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I really want to see them bring Blue Devil to life because I like him in the comic books. I think he has a really interesting and good look just on paper and in animated series. And after seeing how they made Swamp Thing, I really like Swamp Thing's look on this show, from the red eyes to the
Unreal.
texture. Oh yeah, it's so good. And I wanted to see how they would bring, Blue Devil to life. But now, ever since they dropped the news that, there's not going to be a second season, I'm just like, well, never going to see that happen. So
yeah, I
mean, like that
there's
opening episode where he's having that dream sequence, and it's over with or whatever, and he's kind of sitting there like he's on the ground, and he rises up. That moment right there, like if anybody's never seen it, they want to make sure it's not like corny suit. That is like amazing. That like first 30 seconds of this episode where you just get like a really close up look of him, and he's like walking around. Like I was just like mesmerized. Like, man, he looks really freaking good. Like,
yeah, man, it looks really cool.
That like $50 million budget they had or whatever, 48 of it must have went to his suit because that thing.
I believe it was. I forgot who it was talking about it. I think it was Parker, our episode 1 guest, who said that. I think his name is David. David Mears, the guy who's playing in the suit of Swamp Thing. He said that. Well, he's a guy who played Jason Voorhees. He's been in horror movies left and right.
Apparently.
He's the one that said, this is hands down the best like suit that I've had to wear. And he's like, and I really can't wait to like watch all these episodes as they air because I'm excited to see myself in that suit because of how cool that suit was. So yeah, I think they did an incredible job visually. I mean, the show visually completely, like, in all aspects, not just the suit, but like visually, it's an incredible looking show. That dark vibe, you know, the production on that was like incredible. You can't beat it. I love stuff like that.
Also, so fun fact here, the show is taking place in Louisiana, but they actually filmed it in Wilmington, North Carolina, which before moving to where I'm living now in Kentucky, I used to live in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, no
So
way.
Yeah, actually the shot that, if I'm not mistaken, the shot of the mayor, the shot of his house, I've been there before. It's crazy watching the show because I recognize some of these places. I'm like, how'd they make it look like Louisiana? Because when you go to Wilmington, it doesn't look like Louisiana at all. But the show definitely has that feel.
He's becoming a really cool character for me to like really enjoy watching is Avery Sunderland. The actor, I always forget his name, and I always tell myself I'm going to write it down before each episode so I don't mess it up again. But he plays the rich, power hungry jerk like so well, and like he makes you hate him, but like it's kind of like how I mean, I guess this is a hot take because not many people feel this way, but Ron Perlman's depiction of, like, if you ever watched Sons of Anarchy, that Clay Morrow character that he played in that show, where he was so bad and he was so good at being the bad guy that, like, it drew you to him and you started loving the character. Kind of like the same thing is happening with Avery to me. Like, he plays scum so well and, like, the silver-tongued devil so well that, like, I don't know, something about it is really fun to watch.
Yeah, so Will Payton is his name, by the way.
That's right.
But and the only thing I think about when I'm watching him, because he does play this role amazingly, but the only thing I think about when I'm watching him is Remember the Titans, because he's the coach for Remember the Titans. I was like, I used to look up to this dude. Now I just want to kick this guy's ass.
Well, we found out in the episode that he's got a side piece and happens to be the sheriff. I'm sure that's not going to come up in some situation in the future.
Yeah. And
I actually kind of didn't see that one coming, so that was interesting.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, kudos to Sheriff Lady, you know, like bolting out of there as soon as she realized that his wife's upstairs. I don't think that makes the situation better because she was totally going to jump in that.
Oh,
she was like, wait a minute, is she upstairs? No. And I was like, yeah, she was about to do something.
Spidey senses kicked in. Her side chick Spidey senses kicked in. And she felt her upstairs. I was like, I better get out of here before this turns into anything else.
So, I mean, one of my favorite moments, and I believe it's our guest favorite moment too, in this episode, because I didn't actually see it coming, but it was actually really cool, was our Candyman like bad guy that was in this with the bugs. That was actually kind of cool. What did you think about I don't know if he has a name, but he reminded me of Candyman from when I was a little kid, because that movie scared the shite out of me. Yeah. So what did you think about that?
Oh man. So in the beginning of the show, you get him and Alec, you know, interacting, you know, I guess I don't know where else to call it, but it seems, are they in the green or something? I don't know, but they're interacting. And then fast forward, you get his body and all the bugs and stuff just, you know, going in and out of him. And it was gross. But the part where he is fighting Swamp Thing and then Abby comes in with her hatchet. I mean, she has balls. Abby freaking has balls. Like, I love Abby in the show. She's smart. She's got grit. But I mean, that was horrifying for me. Like, it was that kind of stuff. That was the part where I was yelling at the screen, like, "Oh girl, you better run. You better run." Put the axe down, run, just go.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's supposed to be the Rot from the comics. I think it's not him specifically, but it's like the controlled parasites that pretty much like take over someone's body. I think it's supposed to be the Rot. I think they're going to explain that further on. But the Rot makes an appearance, like, I forgot which which Swamp Thing it was. But there's a thing called the Rot that does that specifically. So I think that's what it is. But that whole, like, daydreaming state that he was in, from what I read about things online, is like he was going through an internal struggle, still scared about, like, what's going on with his body and what's going on with him. And he had, like, this vision, and that's where, like, the Rot kind of, like, took over that guy's body, because he felt like he was being traumatized by it, because, like, it was the first person he had killed as Swamp Thing. So he was, like, still shell-shocked of, like, what he's capable of, and that he took someone's life. So the Rot kind of used that to, like, you know, and now, like, haunting him in a way. So, but that scene was really, really, really cool. Where, like, in Alex's old lab, when all that went down, that was a pretty cool scene. The other scene I really liked was, like, how you said Abby has balls. Like, the grit on that girl is awesome, and you could really see it when when her and well, I'm just gonna call him
Sunderland?
Huh?
Was it her interaction with Sunderland?
No, the what's his name? The other doctor that came in. The one that I'm blanking on everything right now. But
the supervisor from the CDC or whatever?
No. The guy that came in that invented the accelerator.
Oh, Woodrue. Woodrue. Yeah.
Woodrue. Yeah, there you go. Woodrue, who becomes Pharaonic Man. Yeah, but that interaction where he's going through the body, Susie's dad's body, to, like, get samples and stuff and see what's going on, and she walks in and they have that interaction where he turns around halfway through. I like that. Like, I like it when girl characters take, like, that really hard-nosed role where, you know, they take a stand, they know what it's about. So he turns around, he's like, Mrs. Arcane. She turns around, she's like, that's Doctor. I was like, oh damn, get it.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. I was like, you tell him. And, like, I just like that she doesn't fold to anybody. Like, she knows what's right, she knows what's wrong, and she's gonna do whatever she wants to do regardless. Like, that whole thing where she wanted to change all their meds because of the whole theme of this episode was that it's not fighting us, it's fighting back from something we're doing to them. So whatever this thing is, it's fighting back. It's not actually fighting us, it's actually in defense mode. So she had to change the prescriptions and give them immunosuppressants and figure all that stuff out, even when that doctor was, like, yelling down her throat and, like, bashing her for it. Yeah. You know, I really like her character too.
So at this point in the show, we've seen Abby pretty much show up. She you know, said what she said to Woodrue. You know, it's Doctor, excuse you. She freaking whacked the Rot guy in the back, which was freaking awesome. And I really, even though it's not in this episode, the last episode when she tells off Sunderland, or she's just, you know, she has that emotional moment, but she says those really stinging words at the end there. I thought that was pretty cool. And the Doctor, like you said, like, her just basically taking charge, and he's over there calling freaking security while she's trying to save people's lives. Get out of her way. She is the main character. So, but so her friend who has the girlfriend, like, sends
Liz.
Her girlfriend. Yeah, Liz. Yeah, she sends her out into the swamp, right? Why do they keep going out into the swamp at night? Why don't they ever go during the daytime?
What that girl's job is in the first place.
He's a crabber or something. Just what they said.
In a swamp?
Yeah, I think they said something about she was either a fisher or a crabber or something in episode 2. I'm just glad she made an appearance, because remember episode 2 when we did our review show, I was like, I hope they didn't just do the whole token thing and now we're never going to see this girlfriend again. So I'm kind of glad they're setting up where she's sitting her out there. It's going to be, now it's important that she's the girlfriend, which I'm very happy about, because now they're going to send her out to that swamp, and maybe one too many times she comes up missing or something. So I'm actually glad that she made it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a problem with Sunderland, because, I mean, she found a piece of Alex's boat and called Liz right away and was like, hey, I think someone shot him. because there's bullet holes like all like, there's a spray all over this boat piece that I found. So I think it's going to come down to like, Sunderland trying to hide the fact that he's using that accelerant to grow everything faster so he could sell products faster, cosmetics, this and all that.
And that was the other thing we found out about this episode too. Like we had us believing that he was some kind of big shot, and then you find out that no, it's his wife's money. He ain't got nothing to do with it. It's his
man, that was entertaining to see.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't got no money. He's losing his hair. His side chick don't want him. Like his whole life is just pitiful at this point. And now he's a murderer.
We're gonna see what happens when you push an evil bastard into a corner. Like we're gonna see some stuff go down. I mean, we already saw a glimpse of it. The one scene we're not talking about is him beating the crap out of that banker with a golf club in his bathtub.
Dude.
Can we please talk about that right quick? Because this dude, the banker, has a golf club. He has a golf club in his hand. Why did he not swing on Sunderland? Like, if someone comes up to me in my house, I'm not asking questions. I ain't trying to figure out who you are, what you want. I'm swinging that golf club if I got a golf club. And this fool just, I don't know. I was like, what the hell?
I'm not gonna say the guy deserved it, but like you were saying, when he was getting backed up, I'm like, you got a golf club, beating this idiot in the head, at least run away from being hurt. And he keeps like, stay away. And he was like, I think he even hit him once. And he still didn't swing on him. I'm like, dude, you got deserved up in the bathtub. I mean, at this point. But like the part of the episode that I liked more than that wasn't the actual beating. It was the very calm way he just rinsed off the golf club. So it feels like this ain't his first rodeo. This not his first body, I don't think.
Yeah.
He was so calmly wash all night, calm that golf club.
It was
He didn't freak
Tarantino.
out. He just went down the stairs like, who's at the door?
It was a very Tarantino style like shot. That's what I loved about it. It was old. It was like it was eerie, and it was like such a simple thing. It was like if you've ever seen Django, it was like right before the Tupac song starts, and he's blasting people in the house. That little calmness, that little calm right before where he's like just chilling with the gun and takes a deep breath, and everything kind of like calms down. It was like that style of a shot where like everything's very calm and serene. His only worry is not that he just killed somebody. It's that I need to get the blood off this golf club. Let me clean this golf. Like such a simple task and made it look so eerie. And like Mr. G said, just by seeing that, you're like, okay, this isn't this guy's first body. He's caught bodies left and right. Like this guy knows what he's doing. He's a seasoned vet at catching bodies in people's houses. So the thing is, like, but now his wife's not going to give him money. We've already established that.
Oh, he's desperate.
Like Oblivion said, the side chick's not having it. Wife's got all the bankroll and is not going to give him any. The accelerant isn't doing what it's supposed to. And then on top of that, now his only connection he had in the bank to get money from, he killed. So, like, we're going to see what an evil bastard is willing to do when his back's up against the wall and he's got no more options. So we're gonna see what happens.
I just hope that we do get a resolution to his character by the end of the season. If no one else is going to pick the show up, I want to see, I personally think he's going to end up, dying or something, or be locked up in prison, just something. I don't want the season to end with, the season just can't end with a cliffhanger. If we're not going to get more, it can't end with a cliffhanger of, oh, what's going to happen to Sunderland, or,
the more I watch the show, I get more and more angry that there's going to be no more show eventually by every episode that I watch. I mean, like, episode 2 pissed me off because it was a good episode, and I was like, God, I can't, like, there's not going to be any more of this eventually. And then now this episode with all the stuff that they revealed that's going on that we have questions about, like, we need resolution. There's 7 episodes if it doesn't get picked up. I mean, there's rumors now that there's 2 entities that are interested in picking it up because of like the uproar of it getting canceled, and those 2 are CW, which I think is a bad idea. You can't do the show the way you want to do it if it's CW. Me and Mr. G have talked about this. And the other option is HBO. Now, if HBO does pick this up, is it going to be? I mean, is it a big enough of a show for HBO, who is the almighty channel that did Game of Thrones? Is it going to be enough to draw people to HBO? That's the big question they're asking to themselves. And like, but the thing is, it's a way better option than CW just for the show itself, because HBO, you have nothing to hold on. You don't have to watch out anything. You can use the curses, you could use the dark imagery, you could use the blood splatter, you can use all the violence, and you won't have to worry about anything. Now CW, you're gonna have to baby it kind of for daytime TV, and you can't. What we're used to seeing now in 3 episodes is what we want to continue seeing if the show gets picked up, or else you might as well not do the show anymore.
With HBO is that they might have to replace the females, because everybody knows what HBO does when they get TV shows. They want their females to be almost naked the entire time. So we'll have to see how that goes. As weird as it's gonna sound, being a guy, being a typical guy, I'm actually worried what HBO would do, because I feel like they would go in there, they would need to add unnecessary stuff. They would just for ratings, and I'm almost concerned what HBO would do with the show if they got a hold of it, because they
add a couple sex scenes in every episode.
It would be unnecessary. It would be like the original Friday the 13th, where unnecessarily the camp counselor's taking off her top, and then you see like the bad guy walking through by the window. It would be a whole bunch of shots like that.
Well, on the other hand, like I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but I almost certainly do not want CW to pick it up because of what the show already is. Yeah. Like CW isn't. I've almost completely fallen off the CW shows. Especially since DC Universe is kicked off, but I just feel like at the level that the show is, CW, in my mind, in no way can really bring it to that level. And I don't want it to become corny. I don't want it to become campy or anything. I want to feel like I'm watching a horror flick every episode, and that's what they brought me with these first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And we still need a camera watching him watch the show too, though. We got to have that, because I want to see the screaming. Don't go there. Don't go there. What did I tell you? I got to see that.
Girl, why you in a swamp at night? Why? Maybe I should do live reaction.
Absolutely, I'd watch
Oblivion,
it.
When you come out here, we got to watch the show.
Oh yeah, totally, definitely. Oh yeah, so. I and our producer / my boyfriend will be out in LA from like July 4th to July 15th. We're going for VidCon, but we're also seeing family and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll be hanging out, Tank.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll catch the show. We'll watch it just so I can see those live reactions. We'll go out. I promised you some barbecue. I'll take you to some barbecue spots out here. Because then when I come out to Kentucky, you got to take me to some bourbon spots and some barbecue spots out there.
Bro, we got you.
That sounds weird, dude.
So anything going on in the chat?
Well, I guess me and Barbarian had the same idea. He was a little less tactful, but yeah, people just talking about it. I did want to say one thing before I forget. I wanted to talk about the characters and kind of like opposites. So the first one was the same guy that he was just talking about, the guy who invented the serum or whatever. When he was down in the thing cutting it up, that guy nailed that freaking like 5 minutes. That was like I was like watching him, because you didn't know what he was going to go with this. He was creepy. He was charming. You know what I mean? Like he had some charisma about him, because you didn't know where he was going. He nailed it. And I've seen a lot of other shows, and I don't remember being like, I feel like this is a good character for him. But then also the one that didn't bother me, and I remember DK Delphia said something about it last thing, was the fortune teller chick. Like, yeah,
Xanadu.
Maybe I want the whole, like, I don't know, halfway sounding like Jamaican or an older lady. And instead she's like sitting there, like I feel like she was watching like Friends or something on TV when he walked in there. Like I almost needed her to be creepier or something. She's just like, yeah. Okay, one more time. Sit your ass down. Let's do these cards. I was like, come on. She's supposed to be, like insightful. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Jump down here. Let's flip these cards.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Madam Xanadu, that's who you're talking about. So I'm a big Justice League Dark fan. I mean, it's my favorite current series. I love the New 52 with Jeff Lemire. But yeah, Xanadu in the show isn't like I'm not 100% sold on her. I don't hate her. I actually like her, but when I was watching it, I remember saying like, this isn't really the Xanadu that I know, but I guess this is the Xanadu that translates well enough with a TV watching audience. Because could the comic book Xanadu really resonate with the audience? I don't know. I did like. I mean, I really liked the part where she's communicating with Madame Sunderland's dead daughter and everything. I'm like, I mean, that's those are the parts I love. Like when she got the ooga boogas and she's seeing like when she's seeing ghosts and seeing dead people and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I can go with this.
And how did you react the first time that ghost popped up? Because even I was kind of like, oh, hey, ghost.
I was like, Lord Jesus. Well, I'll be.
Yeah, man, we got a few appearances, right? When she was looking at herself in the bathroom mirror, and then when she was talking to Avery about the money, and his daughter, like their dead ghost daughter, was telling her like, "Hey, Dad's sleeping around." Like,
she outed him. The ghost daughter freaking outed
she was
him.
like, "You really think he's been faithful this many years? You really, like, you don't know this guy."
That was ice cold.
Something's going to go down. He's like, the only thing he has left to hold on to is his wife at this point, right? Like, everything got taken away. But, like, even though she's not giving him money, they're still married. The only crutch he has now is his wife and this whole accelerator. The accelerant isn't working, and it's making people sick, and it's, like, going to blow up in his face. And now his wife is for sure going to find him tapping that sheriff, and everything's going to blow up. It's just going to get worse.
Hey, Comic Geek MD, thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. 2:30 in the morning. That's you're a good friend, sir. Thank you.
What's up, Geek?
Man, that's some commitment, Geek.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
She
these are the fans.
Well, I mean, you got your one fan right here.
99.9% of the people in here are in our comic book club, and we basically, said, "Hey, get on here and watch us." So that's why we even had people watching.
Hey, you got to get them somehow.
What's up?
Where are we at with time?
We're at 8:33.
8:33.
I wanted to say one more thing about Ghost Girl, Ghost Daughter. Tell me why Madam Sunderland or whatever, I keep calling her Madam like she's all prim and proper. She's just sleeping in bed with her ghost daughter. Was that not the creepiest thing ever?
That was really weird.
I was like, girl, the Ooga Boogas ain't gonna get me. The Ooga Boogas ain't gonna get me.
But I like that shot as a shot though. That was pretty cool when they showed her, and then as the camera pulled away, you were like, oh shit, she's sleeping next to her dead daughter's ghost.
Yeah. Dude, there's gonna be a scene where she's like, because they're getting closer, where she's gonna be laying there like stroking her hair or something. There's gonna be some kind of creepy scene like that where she's way too with her or whatever.
Yeah.
She's a great actress though. The mom. Say what?
I can't stand her guts. I can't.
I don't like her.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, that's what that shows that she's a great actress, because from episode 1, I hated her when she was trying to come at my girl Abby. I was like, Abby, you wipe them tears away. Don't let her see them tears. You just give her a backhand right there. But Abby, she's a professional. She held it together. And come episode 3, Abby's over here making money moves in the hospital, saving lives, while Madame Sonder is just sitting around with her dead ghost daughter. Man, that sounds really mean. But she's just sitting over there with dead ghost girl. I mean,
I guess that's a fair point. Like you said, like, I guess she is doing her job as an actress if she's not making me like her, because she's not supposed to be the most likable character. So yeah, I guess that's fair. But she bugs the crap out of me, man. Every word she speaks, I'm like, oh god. It's just, like me and Mr. G were talking about last episode. Like, it just seems like so soap opera-ish every time she opens her mouth.
you know what would happen? This just came to mind. You know what would happen if CW picked up this show? They would probably recast her role with the lady that plays. Have you ever seen Schitt's Creek?
Yeah.
Okay, Moira, the actress that plays Moira. They would recast her and make her role more laughable. I just hope that it would just be Moira's character with a different name, just completely Moira, completely dramatic, and talking with that stupid accent, whatever she has going on.
Yeah, I think it would be a disservice to the show if it ever gets to CW.
Yeah,
well, I have to say, I didn't think about that until you just said that, but you guys are right, because CW always tries. It's like they got very young, inexperienced writers who think highly of themselves, and every time you watch CW show, and they always try to fit in some kind of like pop culture humor that's never funny. I just kind of roll my eyes and go, "What the hell was that? That didn't even fit right there." And that's what they would do with Swamp Thing. They would put some kind of stupid reference to something on every show that would just make me shake my head and go, well, that doesn't belong in this.
Right? I watched The Flash, and it's because I'm biased. That's the only reason, is because like he's my favorite, and they finally did a show, unlike the Justice League movie. Oh, what's his name? Isra, whoever the guy that actor is.
Ezra Miller or something like that.
Yeah, god damn it, man. He made me so angry seeing him like play the Flash. It was like so disappointing. It was terrible. But I loved the CW show just simply because, number one, I love the Flash, and number two, Grant Gustin plays like a great Flash character.
Perfectly.
Yeah, he does.
So he plays a great Barry Allen. He would be incredible in the Justice League movie if they decide to use him. But I mean, that's the only show I watch. But you gotta, just because I'm a fan doesn't mean I'd be like, oh yeah, it'd be awesome if like Swamp Thing goes over there. Like you got to see how networks run their shows. Like how you said, if HBO picks it up, we're going to have those Game of Thrones type scenes where Alec Holland is going to gangbang his sister with like his cousin. And then all of a sudden, and then if you go to CW, we're going to get the whole like pop culture, really corny, like jokes that nobody really snickers at, even though the network thinks we do. Like it's gonna be like it's just not gonna work. But I'd rather have it go to HBO than CW. That's
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, do you want boobies, or do you just want like
corny jokes?
Which I'll say this just to finish my thoughts on CW. Boobies! But just to finish my thoughts on the CW is just, I feel like the first 2 seasons of their shows are pretty spot on for CW. I enjoy them, but it seems like as season 3 and 4 and whatever comes along, it's like it seems like they don't set out with an end goal in mind. So they're always trying to come up with more and add more. I feel like if they just sat down and thought to themselves, and maybe they do this and people demand more, but I figure if they just sat down and said, we're going to run 3 seasons or 4 seasons of this. This is how it's going to start, middle, end, bam, we're good. But I feel like it just goes on until it dies out. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you keep rolling with it until people just aren't interested? Why don't you try to begin and end on a high note? I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, because Arrow was like that, because I really liked the first, because somebody told me to watch it. I said, I'm not Green Arrow's that character sucks anyway. I'm not watching that. And then I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch it. And the first season for sure was really good. And then it got into some stupid love triangle, and I was like, I can't watch this garbage anymore. But like the first season or 2 was actually really good. In The Flash, I really liked the Flash guy the first season. I liked that we didn't know who the guy was that was mentoring him, but he clearly was more than what he seemed. And they had a nice little thing, but like you were saying, yeah, it's like they changed showrunners or something after the second or third season, and they just take it in these weird ways, and it's like it starts being love triangles, and he doesn't talk to me enough, so I'm mad at him. We got to discuss that for 3 episodes, and I just tune out after that.
Yeah.
On that note, I will say though, I'm still kind of like, the fact that she's an amazing doctor, probably somewhat well known because she's saving lives in Africa and here in the swamps. She's a pretty lady, obviously. She's young. She's got all these things going for her, and she's still they're making out like she fell, head over heels in love with a guy she met in like one afternoon who's the goofiest looking dude I've ever seen. So I don't know why she would fall for that guy that fast. I'm not saying it's all about looks,
flip flops on, man.
With his flip flops, he's kind of a dork. He wasn't like charming or attractive, and they're like, she's still like, oh, like she sees pictures of him, and it's, I know they got to do it for the show, and it's like flashbacks and stuff, but I'm like, she's like way too into him for a guy she met for like one afternoon. It's just weird. Man, that's the only part.
Love at first sight, man.
Yeah. I mean, coming from someone with my perspective, I think that who they got to play Alec Holland is like, I could see her falling for him after one day with him in the hospital. You know,
I thought he was a good looking guy. Maybe he's not Mr. G's type. That's all.
Yeah, Mr. G, you just gotta expand your horizons.
Yeah, maybe I have a thing for her, so nobody can live up to her. I don't know.
She was just like, "Oh, I like how you hold that scalpel."
And she was like, and they've said like 4 times, that's 2 things we have in common. I was like, that was the pickup line you 2 used on each other. Like, they keep using it over and over again.
All right. Well, I think we're about 40 minutes in. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Any closing remarks, Mr. G?
No, I actually really like this episode. I was worried about it, but I think they planted seeds that makes me want to watch it because, like I've said several times, I don't know anything about Swamp Thing whatsoever. I've never read a book. The only thing I know Swamp Thing is the recent run of Justice League Dark, which I think is the most underrated series. I'll say it every single episode. And I know that by Swamp Thing. And there he's like some kind of superpower where he controls like, the earth basically with his green powers. And so I liked it a lot. I think they planted seeds and it's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Oblivion, what's up, man? Any final remarks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving the episode. I'm loving the whole show. 3 episodes in, it's been great. I'm not even going to harp on it, the unfortunate news of it, but it's a great show. It looks fantastic. The acting's really good. Just don't pay attention to the little Children of the Corn girl, and you're fine. But yeah, it's a great show. It's good to sit around in the dark and watch. If you like to be scared like that, that's how I do it. So,
all right. Well, I mean, I obviously love it. We wouldn't be doing a review show if we didn't love the show. It's cool. We're always going to have different takes. I mean, yeah, it was a great episode. Would I say it was my favorite out of all 3? No, it was not. I still think number 2 was my favorite out of all 3. But it's going to a point where I think my favorite episode is yet to come. I think it's just getting better and better and better. It sucks that we're only limited to 10 episodes, but it is what it is. Hopefully it gets picked up. We'll see where it goes from there. Thanks to everybody in the chat for joining in. Thank you for our special guest, Bar Oblivion, on Instagram at Bar Oblivion. You can find him. I promote him on my story all the time. His page is my new favorite page on Instagram. I love their content, love their posts. Obviously, who doesn't love beer and comics together? It's a fantastic marriage. And then obviously we're gonna have his stuff in the description below. So we'll link his YouTube page and we'll also link his Instagram. Make sure you go follow him, guys. All his content is really cool. And then we're gonna have our stuff down there, and then we'll see you guys next Monday for episode 4. And we'll see where it goes from there. Remember, Friday it airs. So Cat Swamp Thing every Friday. And then we'll see you guys later on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. This has been a blast.
Of course, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.